For me, Whiterun has always been that one place in Skyrim that I've really loved and felt comfortable, and it's hands down the city that I'd want to live in above all others. Other cities have amazing things about them that Whiterun lacks, but you know, sometimes you just can't explain these things. Whiterun just does it for me. There's just something about Whiterun. It's not the biggest city in Skyrim, it's not the most impressive, it's not the safest, and to be fair, it's not even the most visually pleasing. But for me, it's just perfect. It just feels like home. I think part of it is because it's the first proper city that most people reach after starting the game. You've just escaped a beheading, you've survived a dragon attack, you've been fighting off wolves, and suddenly you're out in the open and the world is massive, and at this point you need some direction, like a starting point. You could arguably say that that's Riverwood, which is a beautiful little town in itself. But for me, the real starting point where everything comes together, the first place that enables you to sort of hang your coat up and take a breather is Whiterun. This warm golden city just sat in the middle of the open plains. The moment that you walk through the gates, you've got guards ensuring your safety, you hear Adrienne working the forge, little kids running around having fun, merchants shouting in the market. It's busy, but it's peaceful. It's the kind of busy that I can handle, much like my hometown. It's not like London or anything like that. It's busy in its own little comfortable way. People getting on with their day, it just feels alive. And then when that music starts, the streets of Whiterun, if it didn't already feel like home, it does now. That song is so soothing and emotional. I mean, just have a listen. The song invokes a strong sense of nostalgia. I don't know how. I felt this way about it when I first played the game, so it can't be actual nostalgia, but that's just how it feels. It feels warm and safe, and it makes you want to slow down and just sort of take a deep breath, soak in the atmosphere. Jeremy Soule absolutely nailed it. Whiterun is right in the centre of the map. You can go anywhere from there. You can go north to Winterhold, west to Markarth, south to Falkreath, and so naturally for me, Whiterun ends up sort of becoming this home base. It's where the story really begins, it's where you meet the companions, it's where you get potentially your first house, Breezehome, and Breezehome is the perfect little house for me. I've always said that even if I was rich, I'd want a small house, something cosy and charming and, well, manageable. I'm not interested in these massive properties with more space than I'll ever need. A nice little home with a fireplace, a bit of storage space, beams across the ceiling, you know, a nice rustic kind of vibe, and I'm a happy man. And the name itself is beautiful, isn't it? Breezehome. Just sounds nice. But Whiterun always feels like the point that you come back to between adventures. Like you've just been on a quest, a few days journey, and you're on your way back, thinking about the comfort and safety of Whiterun. You can't wait to sell some of the items and craft some weapons or armour, maybe store some of your valuables in your wooden chest. You just want to get home and call it a day. Or maybe you want to head up to Dragon's Reach and just look out over the plains. You can see all the way to the mountains. The skies are usually golden, and then as night crawls in, the torches flicker, and it's moments like that that just make Whiterun really stay with you. It's these picturesque moments that you do get in other cities, but it just feels a little bit different in Whiterun. If you're like me and you're not an overly ambitious person and you just want a simple life, then, I don't know, Whiterun just seems like the right place, doesn't it? Now it's only fair to briefly talk about the other cities and why exactly I wouldn't want to live in them. This video is about my love for Whiterun, so I'll just keep this bit brief. Let's get the cold ones out of the way first. I cannot stand the cold. So Winterhold is just a bit of a frozen wasteland really. Like the college is pretty cool, but there's nothing else to it other than that. Morthal, I don't know how you pronounce it. That place is exposed to wild animals and surrounded by swamps. And there's vampires living there, so that's obviously a bit of an issue. And back to the cold thing. Freezing cold, couldn't handle it. Dawnstar, again cold. It's also got Daedra issues, so it's not really a safe place to call home, so we can write that one off. Windhelm is ancient. I think it's the oldest city in Skyrim. I might be wrong. It's just, I don't know, it's just a bit depressing. It's obviously a racist place. It's not safe in the slightest, and it's not even cozy. Like, it's the least coziest place imaginable, and cold. Now Solitude is the safest city, but it's the big capital city of Skyrim, and you know, the whole big city vibe just doesn't do much for me. I hate London, so I feel like I'd hate Solitude. Markarth is obviously impressive architecturally, but it's just not my style. And I can't be dealing with the constant crime, the Forsworn, etc. and I just kind of don't like the layout, you know, too many stairs. Falkreath is pretty beautiful, I can't lie, but there's a werewolf issue and too many gravestones. I think the gravestones will be like a constant reminder of your mortality, and it's just, you know, I just can't really imagine settling down in that environment. Riften is also really nice, but it's a fishing town, and it's got a terrible sewer system, so that smell would be awful. And obviously there's thievery as well, which would be an issue. You want to feel safe at home. But no, I think it's the smell for me. That, you know, no thank you. When you start thinking about it like this, you realise that Whiterun is the only city that feels truly balanced, like 100% balanced. It's safe, it's the right level of busy while it still manages to feel peaceful. And it is stunning. It's a cozy little It's a cozy little city, and it's got the feel of a Nordic village, which is right up my street. So yeah, Whiterun all the way. Whenever I visit other cities, I genuinely feel the need to go back to Whiterun when I'm done with whatever I'm doing. It's almost like I get homesick. I mean, I know how ridiculous that sounds. Trust me, I get it. That sounds proper stupid. But it's true, I genuinely have to go back to Whiterun for a bit. There's something about just walking those same cobblestone streets again. And then when the sun starts to set and, you know, it's that golden glow that you just associate with Whiterun, the familiarity of just everything. You know where everything is, you know the people, and even though it's just a game, it does feel like a place that you've genuinely spent time in. I mean, it does for me. I can't speak for you, but it feels like I've been there. It's crazy. If I actually lived here, I think I'd like to work the forge with Adrian. You know, learn the trade, repair a few swords. I don't think I'd want to work on the Skyforge. I feel like it would just be a little bit too isolated for me. But working as Adrian's apprentice, I feel like life would be really nice and simple. And then there's other reasons for living in Whiterun as well. You've got Dragon's Reach watching over you, the Shrine of Talos nearby, so, you know, it cures you from diseases. That is very handy. Not that I'm planning on getting any diseases, but, you know. And then you've got, obviously, the plains stretching out, like, forever below the city walls. They're just stunning. You can go on a little adventure. Don't go too far, you might run into a couple of giants. And then you've got Riverwood just a few miles away, which is perfect for a little day trip. Like, imagine venturing down to Riverwood and grabbing a pint at the tavern with a few close friends. You got the sound of the river running, the pine tree swaying in the wind. Like, what a lovely little place to visit. And then back to Whiterun. Obviously Whiterun doesn't have everything. There's no grand towers or magical colleges, but that's the point. That's what works for me. Whiterun feels like the kind of life that you'd actually want to live. You're surrounded by people who are just trying to get by, working, trading, praying, raising families. I feel like living in Whiterun would enable you to live as normal a life as possible in a fantasy world. And that's what I'd want. I don't know if that sounds silly, because, you know, then why would you want to live in a fantasy world? But I just want that safe, cozy normality in my home city, and then the option to sort of venture out into the vast fantasy setting whenever I'm craving that adventure. You know, I'd like that separation. Now, of course, some of you are going to disagree with every single thing that I've just said. Some people will prefer the more grander cities or the more exposed village-like locations. So let me know where you'd want to live. Where would you want to live? Where would you want to create a life? You know, what kind of job would you want? Just tell me all about it. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm not very good at goodbyes, so...